entails treatment. Now, more often than not, the kind of treatments that people like us will give to a patient will entail surgery, actually doing brain surgery or doing surgery to the spine as well. And then also the other key thing that we do is we help in rehabilitation. You know what rehabilitation means? Yes, you have an idea? It means looking after patients after maybe they go from hospital or after an operation. They need to be rehabilitated. Okay? Now, how many of us are right-handed here? Raise your hands up if you're right-handed. If you're right-handed, no, seriously, if you're right-handed, use your right hand, raise your hands up. Right-handed people, raise your hands up. So it's almost everybody. Okay, so in the brain, you have two halves of your brain. You have one half there and one half there. You have what we call the dominant hemisphere of your brain. The part that controls most things. The part that makes you speak. The part that makes you think. The part that makes you act. What we call your executive functioning, your ability to make decisions and all that. Which part of your brain do you think that is? Are you sure? You guys are guessing. It's the left side of your brain. So all of you who are right-handed, the dominant hemisphere of your brain, or the main part of your brain that does most of these things that I've just enumerated, is the left side of your brain. And it's called the dominant hemisphere. I hope you guys are learning something. If you're learning something, say, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Fantastic. So we're all on the same page. Okay, so different parts of the brain subserve different functions. The brain is the master organ of the body. The brain is everything. Now I'm going to try and explain how the brain works. The brain basically starts all the, just like a generator. You've seen a generator? I better pass my neighbor. Good. So the brain is like the generator. It starts all, it produces all the electrical activity, and that electrical activity has to flow to the rest of the body. How do you think it flows to the rest of the body? It flows through the spinal cord that goes through your spine. And then from the spinal cord, nerves or like cables of wire go to the rest of your body. So just the way you have a generator, you have a wire coming from the generator, going to the plug, and then to the fan to actually make the fan rotate. So that's what is the way the brain and the spinal cord works. Okay? At some point, I'm hoping at some point in the future, we'll be able to get a better environment than this, where I can actually show you pictures about the brain and how it works. But we'll work something in the future. But just know that there are different parts of the brain that subserve different functions. The front part of the brain there, like I said, executive functioning, your judgment, your ability to make decisions. The right side of your brain there helps you with what we call the artistic part of you. So being able to appreciate music, being able to appreciate art. Okay? This part of your brain somewhere down there helps you with your memory and also helps you to understand when people talk to you, to hear. The back of the brain somewhere there helps you see. And then down the what we call the hindbrain helps you with your coordination, helps you walk properly and stuff like that. Okay, and then the spinal cord just goes down all the way. In the deep portion, just in front of the hindbrain, is what we call the brainstem. The clockwork that has all the centers that control your breathing, your heart, and all that is in that area. And also all the wires that go from your body to your brain and from your brain to your body pass through what we call that brainstem as well. Okay. Now, the key things are what kind of medical conditions can affect the brain and the spine. Now, this is very key. There are two organs in the body that can cause a person who's you're seeing is alive, well, to drop down dead. What organs are those? Fantastic. The brain and the heart. So usually when you see a person dropping down dead, it's not the witches from his village. It's not the witches from his village or his enemies. Or how do they say it? Oh, they don't throw arrow, give them, maybe? No. That's not it. It's either the brain or the spine. So conditions that affect the brain. You can have a bleed around or into the brain with patients who have blood vessel problems affecting the brain. Okay? You can have a bleed into the brain. That's one. Number two, you can have an infection, either an abscess, pus, or anything like that in the brain. Number three, you can have what we call cancer. You've heard of cancer before? Yes. You can have a cancer or a lump. You can have lumps in the brain that are not cancers, and you can have cancers as well. For the cancers, you can have a cancer that is coming from the brain itself, or you can have a cancer that is happening somewhere else and then spreading to the brain. Okay, we call it metastatic disease. Okay, you can have wear and tear problems with the brain as well. You've heard of Parkinson's disease? Anyone has heard of Parkinson's disease? Where the patient walks like this, and then they are frozen. It's very difficult for them. It's called Parkinson's disease. Okay. Also, you can have what we call trauma. You know what trauma is? When you have road traffic accidents, or someone gives you a blow to the head, or people who work in very complex industries, they have a fall, an industrial accident, sports accidents. Any impact to the head can cause a head injury. Anybody heard about the president's son? Yes. Yeah, he had a head injury and was looked after in Nigeria here. Okay, so these are some of the things that can happen, or conditions that can affect the brain. The spine as well, a few things can affect the spine as well. You can have a tumor or a cancer affecting the spine as well. You can have trauma, fracture or broken bones in the spine as well from accidents. Okay, has anybody ever seen anybody on a wheelchair paralyzed before from an accident? Yeah, so you can actually have broken bones and then an injury or damage to the spinal cord, and then from the area where the damage is downwards, there's no electrical activity coming from the spinal cord, and then the person cannot move the legs or the hands depending on where the injury is. Okay? You can have wear and tear in the spine as well. Wear and tear. So these are some of the conditions that can affect the brain and the spine. So the key question before I leave, because I'm going to make this very short, is if a person, an individual, a client, a patient has any of these problems with the brain or the spine, what will you see? How will they present? Headaches. So usually in a bleed, what will the patient have? The patient will have sudden onset of headaches. Bam! Whack! Okay? So you see anybody in your family, around your area, and the person is like, you shouldn't play with that at all. That's an emergency. So headaches, okay? So that's sudden onset of headaches. But if you have someone who has headaches, the person is taking his paracetamol or other painkillers, but yet the headache continues 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that is suspicious as well. That person needs to see a specialist, needs to see a doctor, needs to see a healthcare professional. So headaches. Second thing is unconsciousness. Remember I talked about sudden death, someone just drops down, becomes unconscious. Any condition affecting the brain can cause unconsciousness. Thirdly, have you heard of seizures before? Convulsions. Yes, has anybody ever seen anybody convulsive before? Yes, shaking? Yes. Okay. So a condition affecting the brain can cause seizures as well. Normally when people have seizures, what do? You put spoons in their mouth, right? Oh, please don't do that. Tell your parents not to do that. You can cause more injury. The best thing to do, you see someone having a seizure, what do? You turn the person on his side, okay, and then put the head down. What did I say? Turn
the person on his side and put his head down.
Because what will happen is that if they vomit or they cannot control their airway, anything comes out. But if they are lying on their back, you can have something blocking their airway, going down into their lungs, and they can die immediately. You should not put any spoon in the mouth. The patient had a seizure, what do? And just leave them lying on the ground. Okay, and then call for help. Very important. Okay? The other thing that can happen, that a patient can present with is, remember I told you